Look around the room you are sitting in right now. Look at the corners, the sharp 90-degree angles where the walls meet the ceiling. Now, think about nature. Show me a straight line in a forest. Show me a perfect square in a galaxy. You can't. Because nature doesn't build cages. Humans do. You believe your home is a sanctuary, a place of rest and individual expression. You are wrong. Your home is a masterpiece of Pavlovian conditioning. Those sharp angles and flat surfaces are not modern design. They are psychological stressors designed to keep your brain in a state of low-level chronic anxiety. They call it structure. I call it a geometricage. Every straight line in your environment is a command to your subconscious to stay within the lines, to follow the rules, to be a predictable, right-angled version of yourself. You aren't living in a house. You are living inside a physical algorithm designed to prune your creativity and enforce submission. Submission is built into the drywall. The history of urban planning is not a history of comfort. It is a history of crowd control. Look at the wide boulevards of Paris or the grid systems of New York. They weren't built for beauty. They were built so that cannons could have clear lines of fire and so that the police could monitor every block from a single vantage point. This is the architecture of control. After the Industrial Revolution, the elite realized that if you treat a human like a machine, you must house them like a machine. They created brutalism, raw concrete, repetitive patterns, and cold, oppressive scales. Why? Because an environment that lacks soul produces a human that lacks resistance. When you spend 8 hours a day in a gray box under flickering fluorescent lights, your brain begins to shut down its higher functions. It enters survival mode. In survival mode, you don't ask for a revolution. You ask for a paycheck. You have been lied to about the purpose of your city. It is not a hub of connection. It is a massive, decentralized prison where the bars are made of zoning laws and the guards are your own depleted dopamine receptors. You think you are commuting to work? Ironic laugh. No, you are being moved through a human processing plant. Now, let us analyze the biological cost of your modern comfort. Neuroarchitecture has proven that your brain is hardwired to fear sharp corners. In nature, a sharp edge often means a thorn, a claw, or a predator's tooth. When you spend your life surrounded by 90-degree angles, your amygdala, the brain's ancient alarm system, is in a state of perpetual microarousal. You don't feel a panic attack, but you feel a constant underlying hum of stress that never goes away. This is not accidental. A chronically stressed population is a compliant population. It is a population that seeks safety and relief through consumption, rather than rebellion. Furthermore, let's talk about the MIRAGE of artificial lighting. The cool blue fluorescent bulbs found in offices and apartments suppress your melatonin and hijack your circadian rhythm. They keep you in a state of synthetic wakefulness where your body is exhausted, but your mind cannot enter the deep creative states of REM sleep. The system has designed your environment to be a sensory deprivation chamber that only allows productivity signals to pass through. You are being biologically pruned. Your neural pathways for lateral thinking are withering away because they find no reflection in the rigid, repetitive geometry of your world. You are becoming as square and predictable as the walls that contain you. The box is in your head. It's in your. Enter the simulation of the open plan office. Meet David. David thinks he works in a modern, collaborative space designed for transparency. In reality, David is living in a high-tech version of Jeremy Bentham's Panopticon, a prison where the inmates can be watched at all times but can never see the guard. Because there are no walls, David's brain is forced to spend 40% of its energy on social surveillance. He is constantly monitoring who is looking at his screen, who is walking behind him, and whether his facial expression looks productive. This is the death of deep work. The open plan is a psychological weapon designed to induce learned helplessness. By removing the physical boundary of the individual, the system removes the psychological boundary of the self. David no longer has thoughts. He only has responses to the environment. He is a node in a hive mind, vibrating with the collective anxiety of 40 other nodes in the same room. Watch as his posture begins to mimic the low-ceiling architecture. Shoulders hunched, gaze down, breath shallow. He isn't working, he is surviving the space. Ironic laugh. They gave him a beanbag chair and a coffee machine to hide the fact that they've surgically removed his privacy and replaced it with a permanent, invisible leash. We are transitioning from the physical cage to the digital Skinner box. Welcome to the era of the smart city. They market it as a utopia of efficiency. The 15-minute city where everything you need is within reach. But in the hidden system, proximity is just another word for density of control. When your environment is fully digitized, every square inch of the pavement becomes a sensor, and every street lamp becomes a biological data miner. The architecture is no longer static. It is reactive. It learns your patterns, your heart rate, and your micro-hesitations at a crosswalk. This is the escalation. The city itself is becoming a sentient predator. It doesn't need iron bars when it can manipulate the flow of your life through nudges and credits. The geometry is shifting from 90-degree angles to algorithmic loops. You are being herded into a hyper-optimized reality where spontaneity is flagged as a system error. If you wander outside the efficient path, the city doesn't arrest you. It simply makes your environment inconvenient. The lights dim, the doors lock, the digital currency devalues. You are being trained like a lab rat in a maze that rewrites itself in real time to ensure you never find the exit. The walls are closing in, but this time they are invisible. THEGRIDISALIVE. To break the Pavlovian loop, you must become asymmetric. If the system uses straight lines and predictable patterns to crush your spirit, your weapon is chaos. You must rewrite the geometry of your inner space. This starts with environmental sabotage. Introduce organic, irregular shapes into your personal sanctuary. Break the 90-degree tyranny. Use lighting that mimics the shifting, dappled shadows of a forest, not the sterile pulse of a screen. But the true weapon is cognitive drift. Practice walking without a destination. Bypass the efficient route. When you move in ways the algorithm cannot predict, you create a blind spot in the system's architecture. You must treat your attention like a fortress. Stop allowing the open plan reality of social media and modern workspaces to dissolve your boundaries. Build a mental panopticon where you are the only guard watching your own thoughts. Reclaim the curves of your humanity. The system is designed to process square pegs. Become a shape it cannot recognize. Become the glitch in the brutalist dream. BEIRREGULAR. As this video ends, look at the screen you are holding. A perfect rectangle. Look at the room you are in. A box. Look at the life you've built. Is it yours? Or is it just a series of responses to the geometry imposed upon you? You were born in a room, you work in a room, and they will bury you in a box. But the space between those boxes? That is where your soul used to live. The system wants you to believe there is no outside, that the grid is reality. It's not. The grid is a suggestion. The walls are a lie. The only question is, are you brave enough to walk through them? Or will you stay inside, comfortable and compliant until the lights go out? Check your corners. The cage is only as strong as your belief in it.